the Chicago 21 plan because I was very active with many organizations in the north side, in the south side, and this area, stopping that plan because let me tell you some of the details. It called, for example, to make Milwaukee Avenue just a bus line. No cars will be prohibited, no cars will be allowed. And then we saw what's going on here. And we started thinking they just wanted people to move out of this area to bring the suburbanites who have moved to the western part of the city, running away from the changes here. And how did the changes happen? Because the United States government had a huge plan. It was after the war, World War II. So they made available all these loans, all the money to the soldiers who could build the houses on the fringes of Chicago. And that means, for example, a huge Jewish community, and what is now a black community mainly, was very successful. He had his own synagogues, his own stores, his own theaters. That community moved west, thinking that it would be better for the children to move on the countryside, okay? So, because that was countryside. It wasn't, buildings and houses nicely rolled. So that's where they moved. Now, who came in? The blacks and Puerto Ricans, some of them moved over there. And we, as Puerto Rican, just in case, we moved to the West Town area. And then we started seeing many things that I think we should look at. Some of the things that indicate changes in the neighborhood. Basically, it's the tax structure of the city. Taxes go up because somebody built a new home next to you, and what happens? Your tax is assessed by this new house, and your taxes go up. And if you have poor people who just bought these houses, they can't continue living there because the taxes are too high for them because of their low income. So this is what's happening. Racine Avenue, Noble, they built, of course, something there that also signed that something's going to change. A new school, carpenter school. We knew that something was going to happen. Those were some of the direct signs. Then I live in an area where Clemente is now. How did that happen? First of all, they tried to move us out. How did they do it? There was a huge excess of fires in that area. Houses were being put on fire. Some people think that there was a special real estate group that was doing it. I don't have any proof. But also the city had plans for that area. They rehabbed Norwegian Hospital at the cost of all the houses around it, which were torn. They also built a fire station on Western and Division, moving a lot of people out for those structures. They also allowed St. Mary's Hospital to build up in that area. At what expense? Getting people out of that area. Then, of course, you go there, you see new homes, you see new people, because we Latinos are not there anymore. And this is like a continuous trend in the city of Chicago. But I think this is historical. It just didn't happen in the 30s, 40s. It happened as soon as the settlers from Europe came here and took over the land of the Indians. That was gentrification. So it is a long history of this country to remove people for the sake of their lookalikes, in this case, white people, or people who had the same kind of income or culture, okay? And this is what I saw. And then I turn around here in these early parts of this age, I saw a lot of new white faces here, young white people. I laughed because many of them were artists. And I said, oh, here comes the artist. They do move into our neighborhoods, and they live there peacefully for a while, and then real estate said, it's time to invest in this community. How do we do it? Let's raise the taxes. Because if somebody built a new home, you're going to pay more taxes. It happens that all the people in the neighborhood cannot pay up the same taxes that are asked of people with higher income. So it's not a question of rate, it's a question of income in this time. They're not going to say, we don't want Puerto Ricans or Mexicans. Just say they don't have enough money to pay the taxes, so let's raise that housing and have those people who can pay the taxes move in and let them rehab and make the community more beautiful. This is how they approach it, right? It's not a question, we have to get rid of those Puerto Ricans. They're dirty, they're gang members, they have no interest in your future, they're here basically just to live comfortable, as whether you how you decide comfortable, but basically they have no interest in the society that they live in, which is of course true, not true, know that, but they put all these things in people's mentality. And the fact is that when people move in from a different class, begin to develop those ideas. Puerto Ricans are no good, Mexicans are no good, they're all smoke pot, they all get high. Puerto Ricans are all gang members, and so on. And we used to have many fights between gangs. It was between the Italians and the Puerto Ricans around Erie House. And they used those gangs to bring the police in and persecute anybody who the police thought was a gang member. And if you were Puerto Rican or Mexican, well, of course, you're a crime criminal. So this is how they do it. You know, they use the structures of the city to destroy the communities. They have the power to do this. When the city planners want to do something, they do it because they have that idea that certain people are not good for the neighborhood, and it's not good for the people who are coming in. So we have to get rid of them. They don't tell we're going to get rid of you. Let's make it possible for people to establish themselves here and then continue the circle or the cycle somewhere else. Like right now, we have a large new gang members on the western fringes of Chicago. Who are they? The Latin Kings. You got Latin Kings in Oak Park? Yes. How do they look? They don't look Puerto Rican either. Some of them are white Latin Kings. So this is one of the things we have to consider. If we're really interested in this community, maintaining its possibilities, we have to look at race. And we also have to look at the whole question of the financing of this community. You have to look at some of the great ideas that are presented, like this trailway. You know, along the houses, along the trail, property values are coming down. And who are going to buy those? People who have the money. It's not us. When I see some white people, I say, oh my God, what am I doing here? These are the people who came here to gentrify. But, and I felt a little bit uncomfortable. I don't see many Puerto Ricans or Latinos in this neighborhood, okay? Yeah, okay, so I said, well, this is simple. We have to work with the people who are like-minded and forget the racism that is brought in as a tool to divide us, as a tool to make sure that the plans of the well-to-do are followed because they get no resistance. Instead, they get people who don't mean to be there, but they help them carry out the plans. Okay? So this is all I wanted to say. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to see young people who believe like I do, who are interested in making sure that this community serves everybody and not just a few who have money. Thank you.